Yeah, I got a new wheel for my e-bike there. It's 1500 water. Got a speed controller with it though. That's 45 amp, 72 volt. And so yeah, I tested it a second ago. I hooked it all up. It's just I don't have everything obviously finished, but it said 57 miles an hour. That's fantastic. Anyway, I got front wheel drive too, right? So it's actually all wheel drive, and yeah, it's pretty good. The old wheel I have is a Geared Bafang. This is a direct drive where there's no gears in here, and so the whole hub just rotates. And but on the geared one, it's got like 3 planetary gears in there, and then a big ring gear. Anyway, it's noisy. It's very, you know, it's got a lot of good low end power. There's no doubt about it. But it's kind of jerky, you know. You know, when you floor it. Anyway, I was worried about it failing, and it did. It failed. The reason it failed, obviously, I'm cranking that dude at look at her love. She never fails. She's a good girl. Back to the story. I get sidetracked easily. All right, there's my old motor and tire. Yeah, that's a Geared Bafang. I took it apart, and the magnets in there, yeah, were busted loose. So I took everything out, cleaned it all up. Magnets are tough to deal with. You gotta be careful. But I used JB Weld. Well, you know, glued the whole thing. One by one, I put in the magnets very carefully, got them all perfectly straight and everything. Put it back together, and it works perfect, of course. But same thing though, still jerky, you know, and noisy. Because when you hit it, it's like, you know, it's got a real good kind of snap to it. You know, when I hooked it up, I was screwing the gas on a little bit. Far more gentle, kind of, you can go real slow. It doesn't jerk, nothing. And of course, that's always the tendency of these kind of motors. But yeah, should be pretty good. I'm gonna pull up the batteries and kind of redo it, because you can see what I did. I just kind of strapped them on, and nothing good, that's for sure. So anyway, I'm gonna redo some of the stuff here. I got the brake caliper with the 205s. I got this one on, and then I got one up front. That makes a big difference. Holy smoke, that dude really stops now. Yeah, I used to have these guys here that were they're basically 6-inch versus 8-inch, right? And so they work pretty good, but the front one always squeaked. I tried everything to get it to quit squeaking, but it was squeaky. Anyway, these don't squeak so far, and yeah, I'm redoing it. Should be pretty good. I hope so. Peace, baby. I love you, man. Yeah, I just milled these guys out on my lathe, so these U-bolt tops will sit recessed like that slightly. I flush it off. That's why it's wet. And anyway, yeah, the bolts will still stick up, but I'm going to grind those dudes, not totally flat, but somewhat. I'll have to grind some of that material off. I gotta cut those dudes off. I'm gonna cut them off basically flush with the top of the nut, just like that. I'm gonna do. That should do it. A nice hunk of rubber to put on. Got double-sided sticky tape there, and glue these guys on, which will bring that level up there. Not quite to the top, but better. And I'm gonna put a piece right over the top of this, and that will give me some good squish so I don't mangle my batteries going over bumps. Okay. Guys, glue down there like those guys. And we'll do this one here, and we'll see what it looks like then. Those are nice and glued on now with a double-sided tape here. I'm gonna run a few this way. and then glue that second piece right over the top. This guy here, which will pretty much eliminate the bulge of the bolts a little bit still, but should be just fine. It won't damage the batteries. Hey folks, again you can see I got some of that double-sided tape on there. I wiped off these batteries real good so they're not dirty anymore. See if I can stick them on. Okay, not so bad. One more thing here. I'm not happy suddenly. It's better with a smidge of a gap there. You can put a little something in between there to keep things copacetic. That's the biggest danger, something poking through here, battery shorting out. Yeah. Smoke on the water, baby, for sure. Alright. Hey folks, I cut a couple pieces of that rubber. Stick between these guys. When they're lashed together, it's going to be real nice. Superb. I'll put some of this tape across here too to attach the other guy to while I squeeze it to. This guy, so these two together make 72 volts. It's 24 and that's a 48. This is 24, these are 48s, these are in parallel, so I got 20 amp hours here, and this guy's about 25 amp hour. Yeah, that's right, it's a 7 in series, that's 24 volts. Actually about 29 when it's charged, but 10 in parallel. Ooh, that's a toughie there, baby, that's a good one. Yeah, folks, I got most of this thing I think figured out. Yeah. Oh. How do you charge your e-bike? 5 chargers. That's right. Well, the reason for that is I got two 10 amp hour 48 volt batteries here. I got the one 24 volt 25 amp hour battery that I built up top. And then, of course, I got it all strapped to that platform I bolted on there. And I like it, it looks pretty good. And of course, I got my 2 speed controllers here. I got that 60 amper here for the front tire. That's a 72 volt 60 amp. I got 72 volt 45 amp on the other side, which is this new display here. This is the front gas. And the other guy is the normal rear gas. I think it's going to be pretty quick. I think it'll go about 50. Used to go 45. I think it'll go about 50 now. It's going to be pretty quick. I think it's a little snappier before. Like I told you, it's a little bit jerky feeling. I didn't like that. And now with these big old direct drives on there, very smooth. Super smooth, actually. Anyway, I'll test it out here in a little while. Yeah, I'll show you the results, if I make it. We have these rotors on here. They were 6 inches, 150ers. I put 203s on. This one needed a spacer, exactly the thickness of that rotor. So I just left the rotor behind it. Otherwise the caliper wouldn't work. Anyway, I upgraded the brakes, which are pinpoint now, unbelievable. And of course I got that same 203 on the back. And did a little jacking around there too. I had to put some spacers in here, and anyway, I did a little bit of screwing around to get it to work good. This thing's almost dead quiet, which I like better than the geared ones. They're too noisy, I think. Anyway, that's yeah, a 1500, not a 1000. So it's got a smidge less amperage because I was running a 60 amp on that 1000, and probably why the magnets ripped out of there. But anyway, I epoxied them back in. She's as good as new, I promise you. But yeah, I upgraded that, and then I have it came with the Samsung 21 amp hour battery, a 48 volt, and then I built this guy here, which is a 24 volt, and I used Samsung cells also. I built it roughly the same size, so I could run these two in series and have that 72 volts and you know, and have the same kind of amperage as far as range. Display that came with it, it's an SW900. There's the shocks in the front, and it's got a little mono shock here in the back. I replaced it with that A5 there because the original one just had like a spring, and I had to make this little contraption here, so I wanted to ride a little bit lower, and so I did. I made that out of just like a U-bolt. Like a U-bolt, kind of a square U-bolt. Hey guys, we get a little test here. Special little deal where it goes 0 to 30. This little speedometer gizmo, and in a standing 1/8 mile, and that way we can see how quick this thing is.
Almost 30.
Gotta wait up on this guy a little bit, otherwise I'll be on his butt. Yeah, you can hear this thing laying rubber for quite a ways. Even I'm leaning forward. Here we go. Yeah, about 20 feet.